Hey guys, Barn Geek here. This isn't going to be your normal video. I wanted to do a video response to Brad at Big Family Homestead for his UBI, Universal Basic Income video. He was basically just asking for, asking questions about, what people thought about, technology moving forward and how people that aren't going to be able to find jobs, low wage type labor jobs, with robotics and whatnot. How are they going to, make a living going forward? When tractors first came out, steam engines, and then on to gasoline tractors, everybody, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is the end of the world. Our entire economy is based on agriculture. What are people going to do if one guy can, farm as much as 100, what are those other 99 people going to do for employment, I mean, those are legitimate fears, because if all you can see is that, the economy is based on agriculture, then how could you see the industrial revolution coming before? And, you really can't predict, if you're a farmer living in the 1800s, early 1800s, you're not going to know 100 years from now there's going to be people driving around in automobiles, And then for farmers back then, when tractors are first invented, steam tractors, this is an amazing technology. They're not going to understand that 100 years in the future, there's going to be humongous tractors farming thousands of acres in a day. That might be an exaggeration, but a large amount of acreage in a day. But technology has always in the past created more opportunities than it eliminated. So as technology has advanced throughout the entirety of human history, technology has always led to more opportunities economically. So as far as robotics go, we don't know what opportunities are going to be available for people moving forward. But I'm optimistic. I think we're going to have more opportunities than less. I have 2 3D printers in my office, and I can grab a file off the computer, and they're robots, and plug it into my 3D printer, and a few hours later I have whatever product that I put into the computer, or into the 3D printer. It's sitting there on the bed ready for me to use. And that's just one way of, home manufacturing. So you guys that are, homesteaders, I'm a homesteader too. Something like a 3D printer, that seems like space age technology that, maybe out of reach or not appropriate for a traditional homesteader. But I got to tell you, that's completely not true, because that really takes, that piece of technology takes that plastic injected molding industry and then brings it home to your home office, where you've got the opportunity to, print out something that somebody else has designed, put on the internet, download it, print it out. Somebody else has done a lot of research, a high quality file that you don't have to spend hours making yourself. You just download it, pay the guy, put it in your computer, or put it in your 3D printer, hit a couple buttons, and away you go. You've got a quality product that is that you made. You're supporting the person that designed it by getting that quality product, purchasing that model, and then printing it in your home office. And your money didn't ship over to China. It didn't ship over to all around the world. But that's just one example. That we're just at the cusp of this revolution in manufacturing. If you can make a product in your home that used to cost you $5 for pennies, then that's really kind of an income in itself. because your standard of living has improved without having to have your dollar value improve, the amount that you make increase. Of course, there's a problem with inflation, and we'll get to that in a minute. so that's one side, the automation revolution that we're seeing with the robotics and everything. As technology advances, like I said, more opportunities advance, things that we don't even know about yet. So, and then on to like universal basic income. Let's say that this is an anomaly, and it doesn't lead to more opportunities and jobs and type of things. And then we do have to think about, how are these people going to eat that aren't working anymore? How are they going to survive? Let's just float this idea for a second. Let's have a little history lesson on inflation. We have an old solution to this problem, and that is to end inflation. And you say, well, how do you do that? Inflation is always a thing. Well, it's not. Inflation is something that has plagued our country and the world ever since governments stole the right to create the currency. We went through the Industrial Revolution. We went through basically the information revolution, the information age. The natural evolution from the information revolution, the information age, to this next revolution that we're at the beginning of, that started about a decade ago, just started getting going, is the financial revolution. We have currencies now that are not inflationary. What that means is, instead of going to the store and seeing the price of milk go up, everything, gasoline go up, everything going up. This is not what our founders had envisioned for the United States of America. From the signing of the Declaration of Independence until 1913, the dollar bill was like this. It had no real inflation or deflation. There was little bits of blips up and down. Every time the government stepped in and tried to mess around with the money, tried to start a national bank, we'd have a little bit of a blip in that stability of the dollar. But once we got to 1913 and we had a new national bank called the Federal Reserve, since then the value of the dollar has gone. And I know a lot of you know this. A lot of you that follow people like Ron Paul, you know that the Federal Reserve is just devastated. And what happens is, what that affects the most is the poorest people, because when you go to the grocery store, and we're seeing it this year, this is what the result of printing more money does. It makes everything cost more, and the people that affects the most are the poorest people, because they only have so much money, and even though stuff costs more, they don't have more of it to spend, so they get less with the money that they have. It's one of the biggest crimes in the history of the world. The amount of calories you can purchase with $1 100 years ago is way more than you can purchase now with $1. But if you purchased an orange, if you have an orange 100 years ago, it has the same calories that an orange does now. And that is a direct result of, making more money than there is value to represent that money. So if we have a currency that does not devalue, that does not inflate, so the supply of that currency is either the same or goes down, then, or it goes up a little bit and then has a cap. That most of the cryptocurrency currently is still, there's still more of it being made until we get to a certain point, and then there's a cap. There's not going to be more cryptocurrency than this cap, some day in the future. In a world without inflation, your motivation, everyone's motivation, is to save. The human beings are by nature givers. Their creator is a giver. We inherited that trait. It does our soul good to give. And if we can give in a way that benefits everyone, including ourselves, there's no end to the possibilities there. Everybody's going to give because it gives you something to give. So, okay. So you put you've earned a lot of money, you've worked hard, you've earned money, you put your hard-earned dollars into Bitcoin, okay? You put it in the bank. You put it into a financial institution, whatever that looks like in the future, where you pool your money with other people's money, and it earns interest because it's getting loaned out. The interest rate that money is going to get is going to be pretty big compared to what we're able to get now because of inflation and everything. It's going to be probably in the neighborhood of 5 to 10%. Doesn't really matter what it is. It might even be more than that. But it doesn't really matter what the interest rate is. As humans, we're going to establish, this is going to happen, we're going to establish banks where you split your interest. So you take your cut because, hey, you know what? You're not losing money and you're gaining. You're gaining money. So you put 50, we'll use dollars because everybody understands dollars. You put $50,000 in the bank and it doesn't devalue, okay? Hypothetical. You earn 10% interest on that $50,000, so you're getting $5,000 a year. What if instead of doing that, because your money is safe, it's remaining stable, you're earning interest, instead of doing that, you only earn 5%. Your money still earns 10, but you get 5. Because you decided, not some government came and forced you to do this, but you decided, because you're a human being that's a giver, that also wants to make money, to put your money into a pool of other people's money that earns 10% interest, loans out to people, loans out money to people, gives people opportunities, and then half of that interest, instead of going to your pocket, back to your bank account and growing it, half of that interest, say 5%, goes to a universal basic income. Cryptocurrency is the answer to this problem. For the first time in history, we have the opportunity to take the people's wealth and put it back into the hands of the people with the free market. I'm incredibly optimistic about the future, technology, the financial revolution that we're starting with crypto, and I think the future's bright. I think we have a lot to look forward to, and yeah. I hope you like this video. If you do, click the thumbs up, hit the bell notification thingy, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.